Hi everyone. So this is Prakash ASK. I'm a BIM manager in Bangalore International Airport under Ramio team. So I'm looking to the entire BIM portfolio for entirely campus. So this is what my introductions, and just we're going for the how we can the customized as per our own the requirement. So all the parameters, and this is what we have the T1 extended, and this is the terminal 2, and this is what is the new runway it's going to be constructed, and total area for the we have that. And next, this is what we have in the terminal 2 in the Revit model. I can say the Revit model. This is what we can see Revit model in the only for the architectural model. This is. So in this architecture model, when we selected the data informations, how we are going to segregate the data informations as like the room wise. So when we select the particular room, so we have all this informations with all the the COBie complaints parameters. So in this room, so we have the again the up to what the limit area, the ceiling height, and the room name and room number, and which department it belongs to, and what is the floor finishes, ceiling finishes, and wall finishes. So we are going to feed all these informations, and we have customized parameter for this all these rooms as the same way. When you're looking for the doors also, so we have particularly for the the access controlling and the security, the reason why is we have particularly for the access control for the doors, and what type of the hardware schedule for that. And that's the same way, we taken the one workstations as of in the furniture category. So in the furnitures also we have customized the parameter what we are seeing in the right hand side. This all the we customized a parameter for the materials wise and the checking wise. And this is we have the plans and 3D view for that particular one the type of the workstations. So and this informations under all these parameters, it's going to be extended to all the categories like the meeting rooms and meeting tables, so and sofas, and things like that. It's going to be the extended same parameter into the all the objects. And this is one of the examples we taken into the check-in area, and we can see the actual versus virtual. So what we model into the virtual, as the same way it's going to be in the actual also. So this is we taken it as a small examples in our terminal 2 building as the same way. So this is one AHU. So AHU, we consider, you can see that actual versus virtual. So how it's going to be as the same type of the AHUs. And this is bamboo. We have the bamboo ceilings in the departure level. So in the bamboo concept, we are using in the departure level. As the same way, so in the informations, it's transferring to the operations and how we have to maintain it. This is one small example. Just we can see that as a we can see we have the customized parameters. The product URL and the product PDF. So when we are data mapping with the operations team, so this is what they are looking into the all these informations from the designs. So all these informations we kept it in the design stage itself. So when we checking out, when we checking into the all these parameters, it has to be working the once if we go to the operations and to handover. So we can see that this is once if you click the the URL, it's go to the again the URL. Once if you click the PDF links, it's going to the PDF links. So exactly in our operations teams and maintenance teams, this is what they're looking into the informations. So to maintain the the entire that terminal building. And this is the one the work sets what we are maintaining in our architecture model. So we segregated by the level wise all these work sets. You can see the walls, floors, and toilet fixtures, kind of the things. So this is, it is under BIAL controls. When the, again, anything it's going to be modified, or anything the design it's going to be changed. So we are can give the access to the the EPC to change the particular the designs, and as a major or minor changes into the our architecture model, so that using these controls we can controlling the entire the project controlling, so within our limit. And this is we are processing the BIM 360 workflow. This is what we have the flow chart to entirely our terminal we are maintaining, and all our files it is sitting into the, again, the doc. And doc 2 we are using C4R collaborations for the Revit. So in the design stage, and all this we have architecture, landscape, we have individual departments. So by department wise we segregated the the all the files. So in these files again we are going to accessing in the Revit using C4R C4R. And once if it is when we are doing in the Revit, so once if it is done, so it's going to be again the cloud. Once if it is synchronized, so it's going to be synchronized and pull the data to the cloud, so in the BIAL. So once if it is full the data, and we can do the clashes, if it is there in the any clashes, again it's come to the the source files. We can rectify all the clashes once if it is synchronized, and again it's going to be the cloud. So once if it is again the working cloud, so again it's come under the plans and fill to execute it to the site. And this is general workflow we are maintaining our terminal 2 building in contractors and subcontractors also. They are going to map with their workflow in this patterns. And some of the the BIM 360 the files we kept it into the doc. This is what some of the snapshots in BIM 360 files where we kept it, and how the folder structures it is. And we have the again architectures under the architectural under the working progressive. So under working progressive up to the EPC they are going to do up to LOD 300 level. So after that LOD 300 to as built, again vendor they are going to do it. So they have their own particular designs and executions part. So that's why we segregated into the files. So LNT work in progress, and this is what we have the BIM standards library. This is also it is in the cloud. So on all these the files we can access from the cloud itself. So when they wanted to change it, they can open the directly in the the using cloud, and they can change it, and they can synchronize in the cloud. And after the LOD 300 level, so once the again subcontractors it's coming on particular the scope of the work, and we are going to set it as a separate folder. So again the GFC submissions, this GFC submissions now it's going to be added all the vendor the files, and these files we are going to segregate it into the vendor scope of the work and particular disciplines based. Suppose if you select the HVAC we have particular the duct is it's going to the one vendor, and pipe it's going to be the another vendor. So we segregated again the file itself like that. So and when they have the particular informations, it's required only the particular files. So we're not going to be the share all the one files in the all the informations. So it's going to be controlling all the files and process. And this is some of the snapshots. If you go to the architectural, we can see the within the architecture disciplines we have all this the different vendors for the different the categories. So again in the one files we segregate into the model, and the sheet is as a separate. In the model they're going to do only the model the modeling, and they're going to feed all the informations in the model. And the same model it's going to be linked with the sheet. In the sheet only the annotations what we are going to do it. So to controlling the file size and to control the process. So this is what we are using this method. And this is the the EPC and different the vendor. We are using all these vendors using the BIM 360. And again in this project we taken it as a the basic benchmark as a COBie, the integrations, COBie compliance. So this project we have again the COBie compliance, and this all the COBie compliance, it's running through the designs and build and operations, and up to the we can see LOD 300 level, all this disciplines wise the EPC it's going to be do it, and after the LOD 300 to 500. So again, the particular the vendor it's going to be do it, and again this is going to be BMS system, all these informations and integrated with the facility management. And once if we come to the data structure, the parameters, so this is one sample we taken it as a HVAC pumps. So in this HVAC pumps, we add the around the the operations and maintenance department what it's required, particular the parameter we are going to add it into the design stage itself. So this we taken it as a some of the the high side equipment. This high side equipment only few equipment we taken it to the particular disciplines wise. And the HVAC pumps, we can see all this parameter we customized it and we created, and this all this data it's going to be feed into the the design stage itself. So once the design stage, whatever the information is required, it has to be feed. So like the Omni class and the catalog for that the product and the manufacturer details and this kind of the steps, it's going to be feed into the design stage itself. As the same way, the electrical, we taken it as a one generator. You can see the the parameter, how they are going to be mapped it out. So and how it's going to be customized it. Let me show you one video for that all this parameter, how it's integrated with the Forge. This is one sample, we done down some POC kind of things. So how it's going to be integrated with the Forge. So this all the informations again it's going to transfer maybe to cloud and cloud to Forge integrations. And this integrations we taken it as some the sample the objectives like the high side equipment. So this high side equipment, not the all the equipments, it's only particular the HVAC or generator kind of the things. Maybe the HVAC, one AHU on electrical, we taken it as a one generator, and this is what entirely our Pyle campus we can see. In this entirely Pyle campus, in the search engine we can type the which building we want, and we can search it out, and once if you search it out, it's going to highlight that building in particular the locations, and we can see the background we attach into the Google map also. So this is we have the different files, we can make it in hide and unhide kind of things in this module selections and list. Which file you want to do visible or which files you want to hide it. So this is one of the I can say the main integrations we done in the Forge. So this is we take it as a samples, and we on the HVAC, and we can type it in the HVAC. Either we can if you know the serial number, we can type the serial number, it's going to be highlighting the search engine, and once if we select that the serial number or the the disciplines, and it's going to be highlighting the particular the model. In the particular model, we can see all these parameters. All these parameters again it's coming from the Revit and Revit to cloud, and we are all these parameters are accessed from the cloud, and we can see all these drawings which are related to the disciplines wise. All this drawing also it's integrated. And this historical data, we have all the manufacturer catalogs. Even if you take the HVAC, it's related to all the HVAC. We can see that. And here we segregated using the dynamic data on the statics data. Statics data, we can see all the drawings and manuals, and dynamic data, we can see the live data. This data is coming from, again, the BMS system. So once the BMS system is integrated, and we can, send it the dynamic information to the particular department or particular persons. So we can convert into the PDF, and we can set it out the time, which day to which date. So we want to see the data, and this data we can send it to, again, the PDF or Excel, and directly we can send it to mail also. So this is going to be particular, either it's like the zone manager or zone supervisor, and he's going to allocate it, the particular resources for this solving this kind of issues. And this is what we'll make it very simple kind of the concept. So in the Forge integrations. See, once if you type again HVAC, so we can see all the HVAC model. This is one UPS, as I mentioned it, as the same related to that. You can see all this parameter. So however, so this is, we can see the another benefit of in the cloud services. So again, 100% paperless, all the reviews, all the submissions, it is in the BIM 360. So once the contractor is submitted and we are reviewing the BIM 360, we're given the commands on that, all that commands, it's going to the BIM 360 once it is published, and we can assign it, that the commands particularly to the persons or department. And RFIs also, it's going to be reduced also, RFIs, because, all the information is in the cloud. Anytime, we can see it, and we can, give the commands on the real time, so that it's come under again the real time coordinations. And this real time coordinations, we're doing again the in the BIM 360 itself. And again, at the end of the day, we are going, the 5:30 to all the day. So using this cloud technology. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Prakash. It's the Q&A session now, and Prakash is here to address your questions. All right, so we've already received some questions. Prakash, there is an audience called Jennifer Wong. She wants to know more about how does the BIM implementation work from the traditional to new method in your airport?
Okay, in the traditional way, I used to work in the AutoCAD. It's only a 2D based concept. So once if you move to the BIM platform, so we are looking the 2D to 3D, and 3D we can virtually we can design it in the office, and that virtual model it's going to the site to the executions. This is a major transitions. It's working in the nowadays in the airport. So this is a major the transitions we can see in the airport design to constructions, extended to operations to maintenance. These are major the changes we can see in the traditional to new concept.
And we've got a question from Nicholas Kwok. He wants to know what is the cost and time impact to use BIM implementation on your campus?
Sorry, come again?
A question from Nicholas. He wants to know what is the cost and time impact to use BIM implementation on your campus?
Okay, see, the cost, it's going to be reduced, the overall cost is going to be reduced, 10 to 15% of the overall budget. And our project, we can control the, exactly within the budget. So that is, it's come under the cost. And this again, rework, it's going to be reduced so much of the rework. That is it's going to reduce so much of the cost and the time and human resources. So this is majorly impact on the the site to execution the the project. And time taken, it's entirely almost it's reduced into the the 1 year or 6 months down the lines to once if you move into the BIM methodology, use it. So this is what it's happening in our project.
And there's also a question from Kenneth. Kenneth would like to know, how does the RFI work in your project workflows projects?
Okay, so in our project, RFI, it's working, from the EPC contractor directly. They can send the whatever they have the doubts or they need the clarifications in the designs or in the site executions part. Directly, they can send it to either the particular persons, either the particular department. So once they send it to that, once they publish into their RFI, it's come to the particular persons or department. And once they answer, again, it's going to replicable. It's maybe a person's or it may be the department head kind of the things. This is it's like a easy process. We standardize our on the process. This process, it's becoming very easy to solve all the issues designed to the constructions.
And coming up next, there is a question about coordination. John would like to know how you're coordinating with other projects and stakeholders in your airport.
The team was told.
Okay, we are using the common data environmental. So in the common data environmental, all the data gets saved into the cloud. So once if you have the access to the cloud, all the information it is the cloud. So we can pull the informations whenever we want and however we want. And all the the stakeholders. Suppose for example, if you I'll take the example for the airport authority of approvals. So all the approval we completed using the BIM platforms. So this is the time taken. It's like a very less. So this is one the impacting taking the approval from all the stakeholders, airport authority of India and the PICAS approvals. So all those things we taken it in the through the BIM implementations, and it's worked very well. So it's reduced almost all the time in the 6 months. So it's reduced the 6 months times. So all these stakeholders. And other project, anyway, we are using the common data environmental. As the same common data environmental we're using for other project also. The coordination is become very easy to once if you move into the cloud.
Okay, and besides that, Marcus has a question for you. What is the impact on the outside market from your BIM implementation to the airport?
So in our airport, we mandated the BIM workflow. So from the the ST, DD, and again going to the EPC to the operations. And whenever we look into the the outside market, so again the outside market also it's think over the virtuality. So once if we made it as a mandatory, so that is a one big impact on the outside the market, because once if we release the tender, so in the tender we mentioned it, all the the scope of work, it is the BIM. So in the all the vendors or sub vendor and all the who are going to participate in the tender, they are also looking to the the BIM portfolio, so their own organizations, because they know that what is impact on the BIM implementations in the project. So this outside market, all the companies and who are bidding the contracting, so they're also upgrade into their self to the again the BIM platforms. This is we can see the the majorly outcome of in the market. And we released again entirely the airport, the terminal 2 building. We released into the 3D model to bid the who are going to the bid it in the as a EPC.
Besides that, Lawrence got a question for you. How long did you take to develop the BIM FM Forge platform?
Okay. See, whichever is necessary, the informations it's required to engineering maintenance department and operations team. So we build up from the design stage itself all the informations. But whichever informations is required to the constructions, and site, and we are going to release only that informations to the site, and all this information it's carried forward into the facility management. We are going to build all these informations to the design stage itself. Suppose, for example, once if you click any on WSE, so once if you click the WSE, we have already inbuilt who is a vendor for that, and who is the catalog for that, and all this link, it's linked to the URL, so that anyone the later stages, either the engineering maintenance department, either the operation department, they can open and they can see the all the the method statement. So this is how the facility management it's going to be built to the the later stages.
All right, so finally we've got the last question here for you. Jake would like to know, regarding the 3D assets family, such as the Color Urano unit or the AHU unit, which part were tasked to create their detailed 3D model?
Sorry, come again on, sir.
He asked that regarding the 3D assets family, such as the Color Urano unit or the AHU unit, which party were tasked to create their detailed 3D model?
So we are using our own the customizations as per the vendor, what we choose the specifications. So we are using again, the millimeter units only, and that one, anyway, we can convert into the ones if you, working with the project. So this is how, we have our own the customizations portions for the our own the airport. So as for our own the requirement to the, the maintenance department wise.
Thank you so much, Prakash. That's so informative and so insightful.